What's up, guys? So, I've been playing this new MMO survival game, Once Human, for about the last week, and I wanted to talk about 10 things I wish I knew when I started the game. So, let's hop right into that. First up, I wanted to talk about Deviants. So, there are all sorts of hidden Deviants around the world, and you can basically find them doing literally anything in the game. So, literally just walking around in a town, mining, silos, boss fights, anything really. But there are two I would recommend getting as soon as you can. So first up is the Digby Boy, who you can get from just mining ore, but I think mining silver ore has the highest chance to guarantee obtaining him. He basically just goes around and mines for you. This can be pretty strong if you get him early enough, as it will allow you to get iron before you are even capable of doing so. You can also get multiple of him, so that's cool. And then we have the Beaver, which will automatically collect wood for you, although kind of slowly. And you can actually get this guy pretty easily if you go to the Myers Market town and walk down to the docks. He should be there for you to capture. And just to expand on deviants, you can actually increase the efficiency of your deviants by meeting these conditions displayed at the bottom of their securement unit. And you can read what this does, but basically it just increases the mood and deviant power of your deviants, allowing it to be used more often, so I would recommend doing that. Quickly, I'd like to mention that we are currently trying to hit 250 subscribers, so if you would consider hitting that subscribe button down below, it would be greatly appreciated. Next up, I want to talk about acquiring blueprints, and this is going to be extremely important in progressing through the game, as better blueprints will allow you to make much better weapons and armor. But the main way you will be doing so early on is by opening these mythical chests at different towns around the map. And these things can be pretty tricky to find, but almost all the time will be on top of roofs or behind hidden doors. There are an absolute ton of these mythical crates all around the map, and honestly, it seems like you have more trouble finding these weapon/gear crates than those mythical ones. Now, another way you can go about getting blueprints is through the use of Starcrom at these wish machines, which you can either craft and place in your own base or just use someone else's. Now, you can either gamble your Starcrom by playing the game here, or you can straight up buy the blueprints you want at an increased price. It really is up to you what you want to do with your Starcrom, but for me, I didn't even know you could just buy the blueprints because in the beta, that was not a feature. So it's pretty cool to have that option if there is something you really want. Also important to mention that Starcrom is a relatively limited resource, and there are no super fast ways to get it, so it is really important to spend it wisely early on. Since we were talking about the wish machine, I want to mention quickly that the first time you play the game in here, you are guaranteed to get this purple scar blueprint. And this thing is absolutely busted for how early you can get it, and will honestly carry you all the way through the game if you want it to. It only starts to fall off when you beat the spider boss in the Iron River, which is about halfway through like the main story. So next up, I want to talk about the disassembly bench quickly, because unless you come from a game like Fallout 76, you might not understand exactly what is going on here. So in this screen, we have a bunch of different tabs. The one we are mostly going to focus on is this one here with the screw icon. Now this is your junk tab. And this means literally everything in this tab is junk, useless, and will only be useful to you if you disassemble it here. So you can just select all and then disassemble. Now the only other thing you might want to disassemble is weapons, and some of these will actually give you things that let you change calibration attributes. These are called calibration blueprints. Now I don't think this system is all that important until in-game, but it's good to be aware of. So since we're on the topic, we should talk about calibration and how that works. So calibration is basically how you invest even further into your weapons. So you calibrate weapons at tier 3 up to 7 times, and this will basically give your gun flat boost to its stats and unlock those previously mentioned calibration attributes. So this is honestly a pretty important mechanic, but I wouldn't recommend just maxing out every gun you get, because you can actually progress through the tiers quite quickly. So when I could craft a tier 3 version of this purple scar, I calibrated it all the way to max in order to be ready for phase 2, but honestly I would not have done that if the rest of the map was already unlocked from the start. Calibrating can become incredibly resource heavy, especially after reaching steel or tier 3. It also costs a ton of energy links at the higher levels, so please don't just spam this on anything. It's also important to mention that you cannot calibrate weapons that you loot. Instead, the weapon you want to calibrate has to be crafted. Since we are already on the topic of upgrading your items, it's probably a good time to bring up mods for weapons and armor. So if you click modify on a piece of gear or a weapon, you will get a screen that looks like this. Here you can equip a mod, and these things range all the way from common to legendary, legendary being the best. If we just hover over some of these, you can see these have all kinds of different effects, like the one I have equipped on the Scar right now is a flat weapon damage boost. And they also have these attribute effects. These are bonus stats you can get by having these mods equipped. You can see on the right side, it says tier 2 and then tier 3. And this means in order to unlock all of the bonus attribute effects this mod can give us, it has to be equipped on an item that is at least tier 3. You can also enhance these things using energy links and weapon mod parts, but I wouldn't suggest doing this until you know exactly what you're going for. And this system basically works the exact same for armor. And you can actually acquire mods from just about anything in the game, but one of the best ways is spamming boss fights at Monolith. Quickly, I want to talk about armor sets, as these can be overlooked or just misused very easily. So you can actually mix and match armor sets. Like currently I have 3 pieces of the agent set equipped, and that is allowing me to have up to the third bonus on this armor set because I have 3 pieces of it equipped. But then I also have 1 piece of the raid set giving me 15% gathering speed, 1 piece of the scout set giving me 10% max HP, and then 1 piece of the rustic set giving me 10% movement speed. So you can see how you can mix and match these sets of armor, allowing for you to pick and choose what bonuses you actually want. Like if I were to be wearing 2 pieces of the rustic set, I would be getting melee damage, which is absolutely useless to me. Then one last thing I want to mention is that you should never craft AP ammo because this is just a waste of Stardust source. This material is used for much better things later on in the game, and it would be a shame if you were to waste it all on AP ammo. Also, if you have been struggling to figure out how to change the ammo that is currently being used on your gun, you can go to the attachments page and change it there. Now that's about everything I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. Consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below, and keep on grinding.